So what inspired you to build a fund that was so centric on sharing knowledge, and how did you ingrain this into the philosophy of Chanakya Capital?
I have to be really candid on this one. My experience leading up to this was not a very pleasant one, right? Leading up to setting the fund, deciding to get into this was not a very pleasant one. From an early stage engineer, even good successful companies like Roblox, for example, where I was a lot more technologically involved than in the rest of it, right? I tried my best to pick brains, to ask people, how is it done? How do you do this? What happens if there were not a whole lot of resources? But far from it, felt very exclusionary, by the way. So I would go to these meetups. First of all, if I was allowed, right? Because often these meetups are very closed door meetups. And so for the ones that I may have been allowed, I would just go interact and say, hey, I want to set some time and see 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. I can buy you beer, whatever, or juice, the beverage of choice. What can we sit and talk? And often in the heat of the moment, people, especially VCs, want to appear very friendly and they say, oh, sure, here's my LinkedIn, connect. Something as simple as I would connect and then they won't even respond, right? So it was very demoralizing, disappointing, and it got me to take a hard look at, I guess, humanity. It went to that depth because I really was here trying to transcend into different kinds of problem solving. And I had the passion and everything to do it. And yet I felt like I was being disallowed from doing so deliberately. And those who made it sound like it was all them and their that and my connections and my wisdom. And I said, in some of those, when they would be on the stage speaking, I would think to myself, for somebody who's made one successful bet out of 100, gosh, that's awfully lot of overconfidence there, right? In terms of statistics, if somebody had 99 out of 100 and they still are not sure, that's a scientist or that's a doctor. With 99% probability, they still be like, well, we still cannot say for sure, and then they'll get into the details of it. And here are these folks who only get it right one, if at all, out of 100 times, and they're the most arrogant people that you will ever meet. And I said, that's why even do that? Why you can be confident without being arrogant? And that's something that I could not look past. I was like, no, how is this? You can know all the things you. In fact, my mom was the most wisest of the folks are often the humblest of the ones. They know that they know nothing. And I was always of that school of thought. Why are these people like this? And then it almost started painting every VC in my mind as arrogant. Of course, when I started digging in, I even found very arrogant founders. So I get it that it's across the board. It's not being anecdotal. But for me, that's the part that I really had to shake off. And that jadedness is something that I had to shake off as well. But in doing so, I said, okay, well, and when I become VC, that's the number one thing that I will not be. I may not have time to talk to every founder and everyone will understand that, but let me be at least respectful about it. Hey, no, I'm sorry, I cannot. You are not in the thesis for us and we cannot do this. Give them 2 more extra minutes. How does it hurt you? Nothing, right? And then just walk away. Great. Or if you do offer time, then try to make it. Like I do offer time sometimes, very restrictively, but when I do, I go meet them. I'm not expecting anything in return. Because if I did sign up for that talk time, then I cannot show up there being annoyed that I'm on that call. So those are the first few things that I really wanted to shatter. And then along the way, this knowledge-centric thing, so Tarpan was alluding to, or talking about this educational material, and even Roger was talking about it, that came very organically because I really like to chew people's ears off if I know something, right? And if I may not even know 100% of anything. And there was a time in my life where I stopped trying to get to that percent, proverbial 100%, but instead say, I learned 5, but can I convey this 5 very succinctly to everybody that I know, including my grandmother, including to a 4-year-old, right? Can I challenge myself to do that? And so that is something that I've been keeping at it in different fields, not just now I'm able to try to do that from a venture perspective, but technology, systems, and so on. So for me, that was organically just adding to what I had, which is the kind of VC that I didn't want to be, the kind of enabler that I wanted to be, and then add this knowledge, because knowledge is the best enabler at the end of the day. You provide this knowledge to folks, they feel empowered. And for a lot of people, I think they are afraid to do that because it's like, if I tell Roger and Tarpan something, now they know that and they don't need me anymore, is probably why a lot of people are not confident. For me, it's the other way. Yes, that could happen, that Roger doesn't need me anymore, but that's not the kind of need that I need too, right? It's together can we build this community where we are one-upping each other and helping build something more and more advanced rather than downward spiral or just keep things stagnant. So that is why the educational portion, that's why we do newsletters pretty frequently, once in 2 weeks even. And then I try to do these explainer videos and things like that.